Well, thank you so much for doing this.
Hi, Lisa.
Hi.
Thank you so much for meeting with me today. How you feeling?
I'm okay.
Good. So what I'd really like to start out with is, well, first, you want to tell me where we're at? Where are we? What city?
We're
what
in
area?
Seattle, Washington, in the Soto area.
So what, is this like just an unnamed encampment, or is this,
Yeah.
You know a number of people down here?
Yeah. It's by the methadone clinic, like 2 blocks back.
And so are you on methadone?
Yeah.
So how old are you, Lisa?
55.
Okay, 55. How did you end up on methadone? And how long have you been on methadone, and how did you end up on methadone? As a
I've been on
result
methadone
of
for 13 years. I got out of prison, and I had a settlement, like whatever. I was getting money every month from my family, and Seth, my ex-boyfriend, came and started whatever. He found out where I lived and moved in with me, and between the two of us, the money would only cover a couple weeks of partying or whatever, and
when you say partying, what were you guys using?
Opiates, cocaine, meth, alcohol, marijuana, whatever we could get our hands on, basically.
Yeah.
I'm overthinking this, but this is weird. But I wanted to just get on methadone for free for like a week and get high.
Oh, and that's how you ended up on methadone. Okay.
Well, yeah, and then I met a guy, and we were rode the bus together, and we were in the same clinic, same line, same counselor, and I don't know if it was the methadone, or the guy, but I fell in love with this guy, and we had this whirlwind romance, and needless to say, I continued doing methadone.
Yeah.
And I didn't like it either. They gave me too much because I wasn't strung out on anything.
Oh, so they gave you methadone without you being strung out?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, that's weird.
Yeah.
Huh.
Because I had been on it before once. For 3 months.
So you had a history. So this is the thing, and just so everybody that's watching this knows, you and I have known each other since about 2000. Do you remember meeting me at meetings?
Mm-hmm.
So we met each other in a 12-step program. And then when did our relationship really take off as friends? Do you remember that? And do you want to talk about that? It was about 2002. I lived in the U District. Do you remember? We both relapsed right around the same time.
2003.
Okay, 2003.
Actually, I got into the
You have a better memory
University
than
of
me.
Washington.
Oh, I didn't know you were in UW.
Yeah, I got into the UW, and Mike.
Well, what were you studying?
A comparative history of ideas.
Oh.
That was the only major at the UW that was interesting to me.
Okay.
I mean.
And so did you go in as a transfer student?
Yeah, I transferred agreement from Seattle Central.
How long were you clean before, throughout that process?
2.5 years.
Okay, and so you went back to school while you were clean?
Yeah.
Okay. Smart girl then?
Yeah.
Okay. Because you got to be a little bit smart to get into UW.
Yeah.
Yeah. So when you and I really started to develop a friendship, you had already relapsed?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I'd been clean for so long, or for, amount of time where I didn't know where to get any drugs, and I didn't know anyone. And the guy that I was seeing at the time, he had relapsed, and plus he knew people, I don't know.
Yeah.
but then he went to jail, and I was like, where do I go? I don't know.
That's right. Because him, it was Mike, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And he was buying from us.
Yeah, but he went to jail.
Because I remember you called me.
Somehow I did something sneaky, like I went nearby or something, and I was like, or I don't know, I tried to get to know you somehow so I could,
Yeah,
you know.
I remember.
I don't know how it happened, but
Yeah.
I like had to get some drugs somewhere, you know.
Yeah.
And, I forgot. Yeah.
Are you comfortable? And you don't have to answer anything, but do you remember what you were doing to support yourself back then? Are you comfortable talking about that?
I don't know.
Okay, you don't have to. Totally don't have to. So anyways, we became friends back then.
Yeah. I'll just say this. I did some stuff that I didn't normally do.
Yeah.
But I had like $4,000. When you go to the UW, you can just press this button and it like shoots $2,000 into your account. And I pressed it twice, you know.
Yeah.
And I had $4,000, and between me and Mike, it was gone. You
Yeah.
know. And I checked my account, and it was like negative $80, and my rent was coming up, and I was strung out, and like, you know, it gave me like $40 more, and I was like, man, I need to make some money. Yeah.
Yeah, the rest is kind of history. Have you
Yeah.
been clean and sober since 2003?
Just when I've been locked up,
Yeah.
but maybe a little bit afterwards. You know, I don't know. It just seemed to work out that the first time I got clean, I was in jail all the time. I mean, I'd get out and then go back, and then, you know.
Yeah.
As soon as I get out, I'd get high, and then, like, you know, within a week, so I was back in county jail, and I spent almost all of '99 in county jail. And some friends of mine were getting clean, and were in you know, some 12-step programs. And so I got kind of lucky because of that time, because they were like, come out, you know, we'll take care of you, we'll help you. And so I did it, because I you know, and my brain was like fried from like ODing, and like I couldn't talk in meetings. I was like, you know, but it was a really good time, actually. I miss it.
You miss being clean and sober?
Yeah.
What do you think is the biggest challenge for you in being able to get clean and sober again, especially right now?
You know, all I can say is just me, you know. I don't know. I've got to...
Is there anywhere you could go for help if you decided you wanted to be clean and sober? Do you think that there's any places in the Seattle community that would help you?
I heard there was, but yeah, there's this woman at Pure Seattle. She used to work at the clinic. She was my peer counselor, and she said that well, there's ABHS. You know, people can go to there, and I've been there, and I don't really want to go there.
But let's say this: if you went to an abstinence-based treatment center, where would you go when you get out?
Yeah, that's the main thing. I would want, you know, some housing.
Did there used to be places you could go back in the day? Back in the early 2000s, if you wanted to get clean, would there be places you could go that were clean and sober?
Yeah, I got a place when I got clean in 2000.
Is it as easy to find that now?
I don't even hear about it anymore.
So how long have you been in active addiction? And you don't have to, let's just eliminate before you answer that question, how long did you spend in prison?
A year.
A year. And so aside from that year, you started using again in 2003. Have you pretty much been loaded the whole time?
Yeah.
So the last 20 years.
Yeah.
So you and I have known each other 20 years.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Which, wow, time flies, right?
Yeah.
And so when you see someone like myself that you use drugs with, and we didn't just smoke weed together, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so we used very similarly.
Mm-hmm.
How does that make you feel for you? Does it help you feel like it's possible for you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, there's hope.
Yeah.
I mean, not just hope, but like, God, like, I don't, and you're just like doing stuff,
Yeah.
cool stuff, like, and you know, and I always, the first thing that comes to my mind is always, God, you got 10 years ahead of me, you know what I mean? It's like, I'm always thinking I'm too old or whatever, you know, and I know I'm not too old. I mean, I'm too old to be getting high, you know, but, I just, I don't know, it gives me hope. I don't know, I wanted to say I'm like envious, but I'm not in a bad way.
Well,
I just see you as, you know, you doing that, and I can see myself, but I don't see myself right now, you know?
yeah, so I showcase my life because my friends, people like you who are my friends that I used with in the same way that you use, and that you know it because we use together. And I showcase the life that I'm living intentionally because I want people to know that there's hope and that yes, we can. And so, and you've seen me at my lowest of lows, and you've seen me on my relapses, and you've seen me in the midst of my addiction.
Yeah.
And what I know to be a fact is that you can too. And I also try to let my friends know that that when you're ready, I'm here, right? Because we don't have a system right now that's helping us remove ourselves from this environment. And so would you be willing to talk to me a little bit about what it was like for you growing up? Who was Lisa before I ever met Lisa? Who was Lisa as a kid? Like, what was your family like? Talk a little bit about that.
My mom ran away with me because my dad was putting his hands on her, and he moved back to England, and then she raised me by herself, and she was she passed when I was 9. But when it was me and my mom, it was happy days, you know. She was like my best friend. She let me decide stuff, you know, like she'd ask my opinion about everything, and I was really smart, and like she'd tell me, you know, you're so beautiful, you're so smart, you're so, you know, she would feed that to me all the time, and I believed it, and it was like no doubt in my mind. I was like, you know, Wonder Girl or whatever, you know, and my grandparents, everyone loved me. I just felt totally loved, and then my mom got killed in a car accident, and then everything changed, you know. I was a little angry, not just a little, and you know, all of a sudden my grandparents took me in, and they were like, I don't know, I wrote a story about it, but everyone was making decisions for me in front of me, like I wasn't even there. And my mom wasn't like that. My mom would include me, and so it made me really mad. And they were always, you know, I don't know, I feel like they put that on me, like the bad kid or whatever, you know, like my grandpa would be like, where's the little shit? And you know, and I hear that stuff, and I don't know, I think I just became the little shit.
Yeah. How old were you when you started using any kind of drug at all?
11.
11. And how did you end up using drugs? Who used drugs with you the first time?
I don't remember.
Okay. How long after and I'm guessing, was it weed or alcohol?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so then what was that progression like?
All through high school, and I mean, I was like the first person in high school to go to drug treatment center, you know, in 1984 or whatever. My grandparents really loved me, and they didn't want it, you know, and they had some money and whatever, I don't know. I was drinking. I didn't know I was an alcoholic at first. I was like, God, why do I keep not coming home, and why do I do all this stuff? And it was really bothering me, like, you know. And then this guy from Alcoholics Anonymous, a young guy, he like broke through that denial, and I was like shocked. I was like, but it made sense all of a sudden. I mean, it was weird to think about it, like I couldn't wrap that around. I was like, I'm not an alcoholic. And he's like, yeah, you are. You're drinking wine in your bedroom right now or whatever. And it was like a school night, you know.
Yeah.
And I was like, I am, yeah. And he explained to me, yeah, that's why you do those things that you didn't mean to do. You know.
Yeah.
And anyway, I took acid a lot. Like,
What did the drugs and alcohol do for you? What did they help you with?
I'm not sure. It helped me not be upset. Sometimes, like if I'd be fighting with my grandparents, I'd leave the house and smoke some weed, and it would just go away.
Yeah.
And then, you know, the alcohol and other drugs, it was like you know, I could hang out with older kids and be cool or whatever.
Yeah.
And feel, you know, not scared to talk to people, and you know what I mean. But when you're growing up, you kind of get that,
Yeah.
you know, shy or just, I don't know. I loved being like, you know, not scared of anything.
Yeah. And that's, yeah, I would imagine it helps with that. So let's talk a little bit about methadone. You've been on methadone for a really long time. So I've never been on methadone. I've definitely taken methadone, which I've always hated it. It always made me feel awful. Is the methadone clinic set up to help you kick, or what is it? What is it? What's the purpose?
This is what I thought was really weird, because you can kick an opiate, heroin, or other opiates by taking methadone and not taking it long enough to where you get addicted to the methadone. You know, it'll mask the withdrawal symptoms and it'd be like an easy kick. Like I thought that would be something that they would do, but that's not. Like their idea of getting someone off drugs is get them on the methadone for like, I think it's a 6-month thing, and then get you off it. And
is that what they do? Because most people I know that are on methadone have been on methadone for upwards of 10 to 20 years.
That's their idea if you want to get off drugs. I've only seen a couple of people do it. I'm like, why are you going down now? What's that? Like,
did they actually inform you that
what
when you
happens?
start?
It's no.
Oh, okay. So
I don't know. I didn't ask to. I just said I wanted to not feel withdrawals. I mean, well, I lied because I wasn't strung out.
Yeah.
And I just wanted some methadone.
Now, is it true that you have to be dirty for heroin or an opiate to qualify to get on methadone?
Now, you'd think so, but
you weren't?
No.
Oh, okay.
In fact, at 6 months, I think that's I don't know about Evergreen, but at THS, they have a thing at 6 months where you have to, a friend has to sign a piece of paper with you stating that they know that you were an opiate addict, and then, I mean, it was just bizarre, because if I wasn't an opiate addict before, I surely am now, that I've been on methadone for 6 months. They have you sign this whole thing to put you on methadone maintenance. And I always thought that was so
all
weird.
You need is the testimony of another drug addict.
Well, and that's at 6 months on methadone.
Huh. And so, does your prescribing doctor ever talk to you about getting off of it?
No.
Can I ask you what milligram you're on?
85.
You're on 85. Okay. Do you have the freedom to increase or decrease your doses? Mm-hmm. You do? Yeah. It's all within your power.
Yeah.
And is there an actual doctor that you see there, or is it's nurses or just regular staff?
Providers. Mine was a nurse practitioner or whatever. There's a number of them at Evergreen.
Okay.
And, yeah.
Do they offer you other services there? Do they make it known that you can go to abstinence-based treatment? Do they help you with case management for like housing, or do they help you with any other kind of resources? Because you're homeless, correct?
Yeah.
And how long have you been homeless?
This time around, since April.
Since April. And so how long were you housed before that?
Like 4 years.
Okay. And then was that through a voucher or
It
a
was through HEN, the HEN program.
So what is HEN?
HEN is the Housing and Essential Needs program. When they lowered the welfare amount of cash they lowered it from $3.39 for years. It was that's not even enough anyway, but to $1.97. And then they came up with the HEN program because they thought, these people can't, I don't know, live off $1.97. That's what I thought. And then you could have either or. And then it was, you could have the HEN program, which they pay for housing, and they said up to a year, 2 years or something like that. But then they said you could have both. It just
that changed. I want to say it changed in about 2018. I think some policies changed here in Seattle.
So I had both, and I was kind of scared to get housing through them because then when the year or the 2 years is up, then what? And fortunately for me, it was 4 years, but it was still like that. Like, well, now what?
Did anybody work with you especially as you were approaching the end of your HEN term, I guess we would say?
Yeah.
Did you have any case managers or anything that helped you start to try to navigate other housing options?
I had my case manager that, and then they switched to someone else. But the whole time I was there, I kept saying, so what about when this is over? Or can you help me? And I wanted to start thinking about it right away. And the guy just kept going, you're good. He didn't want to talk about anything. You're good. And I was like, okay, but I want to know, like, for how long am I good? And I guess basically I was good until I got Social Security. And then they gave me another 6 months. I got on Social Security. And the guy that I had, the new guy, helped me. I met with him one day. And he
was he a HEN case manager?
Yeah.
Okay.
He was a HEN case manager. He found me an apartment. He wasn't very helpful, I'll just say that. He found an apartment that I could afford, but it was ridiculous. Like, it would take my whole checkup. You know what I mean? Like, I wasn't willing to pay
100% of your money.
Yeah. It's just,
Yeah. Did he ever, or any staff ever talk to you about your substance dependence or just anything to try to help you maybe get educated and head on a career track so that maybe you could get off of social services at all?
No.
Was that anything that you were ever interested in doing?
I don't know. I am now.
Yeah. Why now?
Because people are. I should have money saved up for retirement by now. Not spending my retirement or whatever. Now that I'm on Social Security, now I'm comfortable enough to, okay, if I could get a job and lose it, and I still have this little check cushion, and I'm not so scared to work anymore.
Yeah.
I mean,
where would you work?
I was thinking, my girlfriend works at the stadium.
Oh, yeah.
And it's a part-time job, and it's like fast-paced, and time now just goes whoosh. So I thought, I could do that. I think I could do that. I don't know.
Yeah.
I haven't had a job, and I don't know. I don't remember the last time I had a job, a real job.
Yeah.
But
have you had a real job over the last 20 years?
No.
So have you not worked over the last 20 years?
No.
Not officially.
Yeah.
You definitely had lots of work.
Yeah.
So what is your plan? What is your plan? I mean, you're aging. What's your plan?
Well, I would like to find something. I mean, just a paycheck would be cool for a little while. But I need to find something that I really love doing. And so it's not like work. I mean, that's how I always wanted. I'm writing a book too. Probably not as regularly as you are. you know.
I'm inconsistent sometimes,
Yeah.
so don't compare
Well,
yourself.
Oh, I know, but you know, when you're in active addiction, that's what comes first. And
So you feel like you're in active addiction,
yeah,
being on methadone.
yeah. Well, and then,
What else do you do?
I smoke Fetty.
Fetty, and so that's fentanyl.
Yeah.
How much fentanyl do you use every day?
I have no idea.
And so how do you support your fentanyl habit if you only have a limited amount of money?
Sell it.
Okay. Do you ever worry that the people that get what you're selling
And I'm gonna kill somebody.
that you're going to kill someone?
Yeah. Yeah. Not that it makes it right or anything, but I don't just sell to anybody.
You sell to people that are already strung out.
Yeah.
A little bit safer.
I like it when they're on methadone too, because you have that backup methadone, you know, like, I don't know, most people on methadone, the methadone, like, is bigger than the fentanyl. Like, people.
So you feel like it's they're already, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, but what I'm hearing you say kind of is, well, they're already in a massive opiate addiction because of the methadone, so the fentanyl isn't as powerful, so it shouldn't kill them. I have a 22-year-old niece that just died of a methadone overdose in April, and I had never viewed methadone as a potential killer.
You know, when I started, whatever, 13 years ago, or I don't know what I said, but I used to be on 55, and that was when I was in my 20s, and that was for 3 months. And so they just at THS, they just said, how about 65? And I was like, okay. So, and I wasn't strung out on anything. So the first day they gave me 30, the next day 40, the next day 50. And I was like so high. I was like, I don't want it anymore. And they're like, oh, you're just sick. Here, drink it. And I was like, no, I know I'm not sick.
Yeah.
No, I'm sick from the methadone. No, I'm not. I don't want it anymore. I was like freaking out. And I knew it wouldn't go away for like another 24 hours.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Yeah, I was in Harborview once, and they got me so loaded on methadone so I wouldn't leave the hospital. So they use it as a tool a lot of the times. Do you feel like, well, I know that back in the day, probably when you started methadone, you couldn't get dirty UAs for other things or you'd get kicked off. Has that been the case for you ever?
Not this time around.
Not this time around.
Yeah, the first time I only lasted 3 months.
Because they kicked you off because you were dirty for other stuff.
Yeah.
But right now,
yeah, they don't even observe you UAing.
So the barriers have been completely removed, it sounds like.
Mm-hmm. Can I drink this?
Yeah.
I don't know about THS, but Evergreen has, I don't know, it was because COVID, changed a lot of stuff. Like, they didn't want all these people, coming together in the small space. So they started giving people carries that never got them before, more than just like 3 times a week carries.
What happens with those carries?
And people sell them and live off them,
Yeah.
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 But so they were securing that. They had security, and they were binoculars and stuff, and they tried to say they found my label out there, and it was like, well, where's the bottle or the label? Like, because that was not true at all.
Yeah.
But then somehow it evolved into like, now they're not security anymore, they're reception, or they're hospitality and something.
Oh.
Like, and they're actually really nice, that like help you. There's like a clothing closet and like,
So they just give you stuff now. They don't monitor anything. They just make sure you have what you need. Is what it sounds like. So that's kind of what hospitality does, right?
Yeah. It's like, somebody used to joke, they go, how are you doing today? And they go, another day, another dose, or whatever. And then when they talk about dying, they'd be like, when I get to that methadone clinic in the sky, or whatever.
Yeah.
And that's another thing. I don't want to be like that. I've been going here for years. Like, I'm
How many of the people, and I don't mean to interrupt you,
Yeah.
we're kind of running a little bit low on time,
Sorry.
but no, you're fine. I just have a question I want to ask. How many of the people that you've been dosing with for years have improved their quality of life being on methadone? How many of them have gotten their lives together, gotten jobs, gotten houses, gotten out of the game? Hang on one second. Yeah, how many of the people that you've been dosing with for years have improved their lives?
Some of them have housing.
Right. But the housing is typically given by the public, right?
Yeah.
There are a lot of messages out there that say that methadone helps people get out of the streets, change their lives, and create a life worth living. And what would you think about that statement?
Throughout the years, I've suggested maybe I should get off this, or at least go down or something, because I feel a little stupid, you know what I mean? I feel like I'm still high, like I'm not high, like euphoric, but I'm not clean, and I'm not, I don't feel like I guess I know the difference, abstinence, and they always, no, you need to, get to this, get this and this going first, and, like a job and somehow, whatever. I don't know what they expect of me, but, it's always, the way they put it is, methadone is like a lifeboat, carrying you to shore. You need the lifeboat to get to shore, or whatever.
Do you feel like you're being carried to shore? Do you feel like you're on the raft out in the middle of the sea?
I feel like I'm just floating on the raft in the middle of the sea.
With no paddles, maybe?
One paddle.
One paddle?
So you just go woo, woo.
So you're kind of spinning.
Yeah.
You feel like that's a good
Yeah.
identifier for methadone.
Yeah. And it kind of freaks me out now that I'm older. I'm like, when I get off it, am I going to be just like totally break? I'm going to be in so much pain. I mean, because I don't really have much pain.
If you could wave a magic wand and change your life, what would it look like?
I would be, making a living for myself and putting money away for when I can't work at all. And, doing something I love, something creative, and like some collaborative thing with other people that are into the same thing. And I don't have to be somewhere to get my drugs every day. That would be really cool.
How does it feel for 20 years knowing that you have to get up every morning to get your drugs so you can function?
I don't know that one. Sometimes it sucks. Sometimes it's a reason to get up, Because I suffer from depression. That was another reason I, stayed on methadone.
You think it helps you with your depression?
Yeah.
It helps you not to feel, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
It helps. It's like a false sense of, oh, I'm cool,
Yeah.
When you first start doing, like if you first start doing heroin or opiates, like after not doing it for a while, you have that, and they call it the honeymoon period, where you're like, yeah, and you clean everything and do all this stuff. And
Is methadone like that?
it was, yeah. But,
Now it's just the thing that you do?
yeah, and I'm never sick.
Yeah.
But I do have to come here 3 times a week. Yeah, and deal with these people.
Yeah.
And yeah, I would like to be a better example to other people using. You know what I mean? Like
How do you think you could do that?
Well, I'd have to be clean, and showing them that it can be done, and I'm okay, I don't need drugs. That would, I don't know if I'd get clean and just, I don't know. Because I don't know what I do. I know that means a lot to me. People mean something to me. I'm not like.
Do you mean something to you?
Yeah, I do mean something to me. Yeah. I wish I meant something to myself. I wish I would have known what I know now when I was young. So
You think that things would be different?
yeah. You don't even, I mean, the time just goes whoosh.
I know.
I mean, next thing you know, it's been 20 years, you know?
I know. I feel like we didn't even realize that until we just said it out loud today. Thank you so much. And I love you.
I love you too.
Thank you.